but nothing could truly make me forget that slog. So when I ended Stardust Crusaders, I was really not that excited to read more JoJo's. I think at this point, I started to feel the burnout just a little bit. And I heard that Part 4 was like kind of low stakes and more akin to a slice of life series, and I thought the new characters looked kind of lame design-wise. And I didn't think this new...
You can't say that if you're reading the manga, what you said you were, because Josuke was just a copy and paste of Jotaro with different hair. You can't say that. Originally, yeah, in the manga. Not Okuyasu. Koichi, he looked terrible. Okuyasu still looks great. No better or worse than Avdol.
Adventure could really hold my attention, but boy was I wrong, because Part 4 is the best part in JoJo's. Everything that people love about JoJo's is here, and it's strongest in Diamond is Unbreakable. Out of nowhere, the characters are like actually likable, and they have a tighter friendship than the characters in previous parts, so they're immediately more engaging. And all the characters...
They're high school students as opposed to in a life or death struggle against a group of vampires. Not really a whole lot of time for goofs and gaffs there.
Characters are pretty unique from one another because there's not too many of them, and they have some of the most fun character traits, with Rohan not only being my favorite JoJo's character.
There's not too many of them. There's, in the core cast, there's Okuyasu, Josuke, Koichi, Rohan, Jotaro.
Joseph,
Jotaro. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Yukako?
Nah. But anyway, let's go with 6. How many were in part 3?
5. 4. I'm counting Iggy.
Jotaro, Joseph, Kakyoin, Avdol, Polnareff, Iggy.
6.
Huh. So there's not that many characters, huh? When there's infinitely more side characters as well. Sir, in all, if you don't count the villains in part 3, there's maybe 10 characters. Dude,
my favorite shonen characters, and I love that all the characters feel like they know that they're in way over their heads, and it's fun to see them appropriately react to the insane shit that they encounter.
How did we see the first interaction of Dio and Polnareff? Kakyoin and Polnareff, Avdol and Polnareff, they were afraid of him. Not even seeing his stand or anything that they can do. They just went, oh, homeboy, trouble.
You mean Dio?
Dio, what did I say?
Polnareff, all 3.
Oh, really?
You said Polnareff, Dio, then Avdol, Polnareff, then Kakyoin, Polnareff.
Dio. How did they interact with Dio? They were afraid of him. That's what that was. Same thing with the Pillar Men. Joseph went, if I don't make this deal, I'm dead. Everybody's dead. Same thing with Dio, part 1. Jonathan went, well, I have to kill myself and hopefully kill Dio as well, because this is all that there is, because this dude is ripping off heads with a single finger. Don't say that there's finally...
It's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and this is the one arc where it truly feels like a guy named JoJo is experiencing a bizarre adventure.
Pause. Baby dream stand.
Underwater stand. They almost got killed by a car climbing up a mountain.
Dude, don't say like everything else was just normal.
The first part is vampires. He goes halfway around the world.
It's an old Aztec vampire mask.
Acting appropriately. The fact that Josuke is a normal fucking dude is why I love him more than the other JoJo's. He's the most relatable one by...
How are the rest not normal?
How is Jonathan abnormal? How is Joseph abnormal?
I guess he was just born with a lot of Hamon. I guess.
Are you talking about Joseph?
Yeah, you said Joseph.
Yeah, no, but Jonathan?
No. You said Jonathan.
Okay,
Joseph.
Outside of the Hamon thing, how is that abnormal?
Wow.
Because
I don't know how Jotaro is abnormal.
Are you telling me that stoic people don't exist in this world? You like him because he's a lot more. He feels like coming up to this moment the most real because he's just some dumb kid. I can absolutely understand
We
that.
just want some shoes.
But love it. But don't defecate on the other people by saying that they ain't real or relatable or whatever you said, just to prop this up. All can be true at the same time.
He's the most relatable one by far, and although he doesn't change the story, he's just solid.
Pause.
Hell,
Okay, but not changing is a problem, except for when it's not.
And no deaths have meaning except when they do.
It's all just when I decide. Arbitrarily.
Bro is good in part 4. While his cool guy routine wore thin on me over the course of the last adventure, in this one he just shows up every once in a while to be a
He's
badass.
there a lot.
I think he's
And he technically only shows up once in a while in part 3 because he doesn't even have the most fights in part 3.
He legit has like 4 or 5 fights, maybe. And this also shows that he's really a really big lame-o. He got nothing. and it was something, and they showed that a little bit in part 3 where he was like, "Oh, dog, say something cool to him." And this part, he's just like, "That's a nice watch. Too bad I'm going to break it. And by it, I mean your face." Like, wait, what? And they left it in both the manga and the anime, and then he came back to it and was like, "You know what, on second thought, this is a pretty bad watch."
best used sparingly, and part 4 is proof of that. And while part 4 is a slice of life story, it's also like a supernatural murder mystery. It's a surprisingly fun premise. Being focused on a smaller scale means you get to really appreciate the quirkiness of the story. The wacky stuff isn't just...
Before going into this part, what did you want? Because you were turned off by the fact that it was slice of life and everything. But now you're like, oh, I can finally appreciate... Did you want a higher stake? Higher than vampire taking over the world? What did you want? I don't understand this.
It's genuinely charming. And that's one of the biggest problems that JoJo has, in my opinion. Trying to balance wackiness with consistency. Since everything...
It absolutely does this.
What are you talking about? Well, I guess this one he's going to explain because he's already going into it.
Since everything in part 4 is already kind of mundane, the weird shit stands out appropriately. It's an arc where you can have a fight just centered around rock, paper, scissors, and it's pretty exciting. One of the most iconic encounters features JoJo and Okuyatsu in a restaurant where they're just super cautious of the chef for no reason other than the fact that the story expects you to be cautious of him. And then in the end, he just turns out to be a chill guy. There's a storyline where the characters meet someone who claims to be an alien, and we never actually find out if he's an alien or not, and it's actually really fucking funny. Part 4 is perfect at balancing the mundane with the strange, and that is exactly what JoJo's need.
Whoa, hold on. So you just didn't get a JoJo's you wanted, I guess, because now JoJo's has to balance mundane with the wackiness, as opposed to just being a wacky series.
But he also said that this was the first time that it felt like somebody named JoJo was going on a bizarre adventure.
I guess because it's so mundane, when it's actually wacky, you can see the bizarreness as opposed to, using mystical wind powers to defeat vampires.
But the first, we got Vampire Dio episode 3, maybe?
Basically.
And the first thing that we see Josuke doing is rearranging some dude's face. What?
Is perfect at balancing the mundane with the strange, and that is exactly what JoJo's needs.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Because part 6 is a great part. I don't care what anybody says. And it's not mundane.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be mundane to be good. What do you mean this is what JoJo needs? No, it needs a good story. It needs good characters. It needs good fights. It doesn't need a juxtaposition of mundane and bizarre. I don't care about that. If I were to list off my what I love about part 5, it wouldn't be like, oh, it's the mundane setting. That's a good thing, but that's not. I'm not going. Yeah, it's great because of it counterbalances the bizarreness. No.
As the manga is concerned, this is where Araki's style really grew on me. It's not easy to convey some of the shit that JoJo's has in 2D black and white, but Part 4 has the most consistent art up to this point.
Yeah, because he got better.
Yeah.
It's just that easy, dude. Like,
This is terrible.
Overall love Part 4. This is where I finally realized that I might actually like this series.
Part 4 is where it got to me too. It's amazing.
Nah, I was in there with Part 1.
I enjoyed Part 1. Like, basically up until Part 4, I just kind of enjoyed JoJo's. Mm-hmm. And I emphasize kind of. Darby is where I was like, holy, this might be amazing. But Part 4 where it was just like, hit after hit after hit, just hitting.
It seemed like Araki realized what made previous parts good and bad and took those things to grow as an author and an artist.
Yeah, like he should, and he does it for essentially every other part. He tries something new in a part and then goes, okay, what worked, what didn't, and then keeps it going.
Diamond is Unbreakable is the only time that I did not want a JoJo's arc to end. I genuinely wanted to keep enjoying adventures with these characters.
No, thank you.
Move on. They had their story. I don't need like, oh, another secret cure or anything. Some dude moving into town or whatever. Nope, don't need it. Beginning again and end. No. That's one of those weird things where people are like, I never want this to end. No, things need to end. I'm happy with what I got.
Whereas in previous arcs, I was perfectly fine with moving on. But still, after Part 4, I was hyped to keep going. I was on cloud 9. I wanted more JoJo's. And I really fucking hate Part 5. And I feel like I'm in an alternate dimension because...
-9.
No.
Back in my day, everybody I knew hated Part 5 because it's garbage. It's one of the messiest shonen storylines I've ever read. And some people say, oh, you probably just read bad translations. Bitch, I went through it again to see if I was just imagining how bad it is. No, Part 4 is still good with bad translations, so this is not an excuse. Part 5 has everything that I hated in previous JoJo's parts, but amped up to 11. The characters are whack.
Bruno's amazing.
Yeah,
Misha's pretty good. Narasha's amazing.
And
Trish is cool.
And he, again, just going, the characters are whack without explaining it.
Cool guy. Calm, cool guy. Calm, cool guy.
Oh, no, not Bruno.
Funny coward.
Narasha is not a coward. Neither is Misha.
Giorno is a joke. He's the worst JoJo by far.
Yes.
Even people who like Part 5 agree with me. If you
well,
ask...
you can't say that. You need to cite your sources on that. You can't just go, people agree with me. I don't believe it. I've seen some people like that, but other people are like, Gio's amazing.
Yeah, number one.
But don't just go, people agree with me, and I move on. No, you can't do that.
Giorno and Bruno should be merged into one character.
Not necessarily. Bruno would be terrible if he was kind of like Gio.
Yeah.
And Gio would be no better if he was like Bruno.
Bruno is the more compelling character with the more interesting stand and more stake
But wait,
in the
you said the characters were whack. But now Bruno is compelling? You labeled him as calm, cool guy to dismiss him. But now he's good? You can't keep doing this. You can't have both arguments like this.
Story. Giorno is just a guy. Even the fact that he's Dio's son goes completely...
But weren't you just saying that you like Josuke because he was just some guy?
He did just say that. This is
used in the story. He could just as well be some random dude and nothing would change. I can't even name a single character trait for Giorno. He's the only...
Determined. That's a character trait. That's done. I'm
Cautious.
I don't personally like him, but that's one.
Cunning.
What he does is
analytical.
It's those are all. It's either 0 or 10 with him. Everybody or nothing. He has no character traits that you can name. Yes, you can. All the character deaths are meaning. No, they're not. It's 0 or 10 to make his points. And this is trash.
JoJo that I can say that about. And I should point out that Araki's writing in Part 5 is absolute garbage. Oh shit, I made one of the main characters too strong.
Oh, well, he's out of the story.
No, he was originally supposed to be a spy, and then Araki was like, nah, so he just kind of had to get him out of there. He's not too strong because he is beatable. If not for Geo, he would have been beaten by Man in the Mirror, and that's just factual.
Mm-hmm. And also, you can look at it and just go, I can see ways that he can be beaten in a fight with the group that we have.
Legitimately, what is he gonna do against Grateful Dead?
What Bruno gets underneath him and zips him into the ground and suffocates him. He's dead.
What would he do against Green Day or Oasis?
And we still got the antidote for Brick Snake, so he can probably BS his way into that. Nanachi's long distance, his stand can roll, but he has bombs, and we've seen that it's just sort of a cloud that doesn't affect everything in like 100-mile radius. No, you just drop a bomb on him. There's ways that he can be beaten. You're again just reducing him down to his most base form. And again, we don't like this one.
Yeah,
there are arguments to be made about Fugo, but you're not doing a good job with it.
Oh, well, he's out of the story. He flew back to his home planet.
But that's an easy one, right? No, everybody talks about that. Fugo gets kicked out of the story, and it's really stupid, but you're not supposed to talk about that because that's too easy. All right, well, how come the main villain is revealed so late into the story? Because at this point...
Pause. Like Kira? Whoops.
Yeah, it's just like Kira.
Yeah, it's a rip. You're done. You've already f***ed up.
And they knew who they had to go against from the very beginning, which was the boss. They just didn't know who or what the boss was.
I'm sure if we look at chapter by chapter, episode by episode, they appear fairly at the same time. If you don't include the anime where he's just like, hey, he's messing around with the hands in like episode 1. So you've just screwed up.
You don't have enough time to become invested in him.
Yes, you do, because I did it with Kira.
Yes, you do, because I did it with Dio part 3.
I mean, what do you mean? How much do we really see of Funny?
He's so great.
How much did we see of Part 8's villain?
He's so great. We don't even know who it is.
We do know who it is.
We kind of know who it is.
And how much do you see of him?
That sucks because he has the most potential out of any character in this arc. JoJo's is...
Potential means jack.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, and you're not explaining it either. Nanacha has the most potential of any cast member. Moving on. You see how easy that is, and you see how meaningless that is?
Really, I'd say Geo has the most potential of anybody.
Yeah, I was just throwing out.
No, I know what you mean, but I'm talking about against what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. Action shonen series, so I think it's really important to try to flesh out the villain. You know why Dio is the...
No, not necessarily. Villains can be just whatever. And
they can just be a wall that you need to break down or climb over.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make it good, doesn't make it bad, but that can be done.
Because if you never saw Part 1 Dio, who is very different from Part 3 Dio, you would still go, okay, I like Dio because he's cool.
Yeah.
In JoJo's because you...
Whoa, Dio is not the best villain in JoJo's. Kira is.
100%. Dio's not even the second best. Funny Valentine is. And if I had to lay my chips on the table, I could make an argument for Funny Valentine. Shut up.
Over Kira?
Yes. The argument can be made.
It can't.
The argument can be made.
It can't.
We can do this one day. But it's chips on the table. I could do it. Because I love Funny Valentine that and much. But Dio no, absolutely not. Yeah, Wamu probably over him.
I wouldn't go that far.
Part 3 Dio. Part 1 Dio I like a whole lot more.
Yeah, Dio as a whole, he's probably
3. If we're talking about main villains only, he's probably 3.
But I like Poochie.
Yeah, I was about to say Poochie. Poochie's great.
And if Heat Dude was the villain of Part 8, it would probably be Part 8.
Yeah.
That's 3. But he's not going to be the
Jogan
villain.
is really good. But he might be.
He's definitely not. We already see who it is. It's the kid.
It could be the kid, but people are just like, what if the kid and the dad merge? And then
that
it's
would
just
be
like,
horrendous.
because the kid is just like, well, it's kind of like a really weird, lame stand. You can't. What are you gonna do? But if
I don't mean their kid. I mean the hospital kid that Yasuho used to.
Oh yeah. I hate him.
Yeah, he's trash.
don't do this. But yeah.
Yeah. I honestly believe Joven and the kid are gonna merge. Like, I honestly believe
we
that.
don't know at this point.
We don't know nothing.
We don't know who the main villain is. This could just be another side step.
Time devoted to fleshing him out. Also,
No,
Dio-
part 1 Dio, yes, but part 3 Dio is not the same Dio, and you don't get a lot of time.
We get a couple of him in the books in his magic going, the Joestars. Before we see him full on, we maybe get 10 minutes with him, seeing all of his exploits with Whole Horse and everything. We get almost no time. We're banking on the knowledge of old Dio.
Previous knowledge.
why does Araki keep doing fake out deaths? When did we...
Okay, that was a plan. It wasn't like, oh, this person's dead. Oh, no, they're not. It's a plan. He planned for that. Or his stand saved him, what have you. But it's not like in Whole Horse, not Whole Horse, but Okuyasu, where it's just like, oh, he dead.
Oh, funny he didn't mention that.
I tried to bring that back, and it's just not happening.
Funny how he didn't mention that, because he likes it, and he doesn't want to put any kind of blemishes on part 4. So he's just skipping over that.
It's not like Whole Horse. I mean, I keep saying Whole Horse. Avdol, where he gets shot and it's just like, oh, he's dead. And then, oh no, I wasn't.
Start thinking this is acceptable. How many times does Mista die in part 5?
That was bullshit.
Yeah.
Does Polnareff turn into a turtle?
There's
know
a
why.
reasoning.
We know, but again, just saying that to somebody who read part 5 10 years ago, it's like, oh yeah, that was kind of stupid. You're not explaining it. And for people that's going, why I like you, Cosmonaut, why don't you like JoJo? This dude turns into a turtle. Oh, that, what? And it's just like, wow, that's just stupid. And you move along. You don't need to, what's this video for?
This is where the wackiness of JoJo's stops being cute for me. It is no longer a feature. It is now a bug.
Okay, so it's still wacky, but it's just bad now.
It's bad because there's no mundane to balance it out. So now it's just wacky. The reasonings of part 5 being horrible isn't because it's too wacky.
And this is specific to the manga, but holy shit, Araki's art takes a nosedive here.
No,
the original manga is nearly impossible to decipher.
Pause. Yeah, you can pick out certain points like this and say that, absolutely. But
I mean, I can still see what's happening, but yeah.
Especially out of context like this. But yeah, I think part 5 is where his art is the best.
Oh, I would say part 7.
Part 7 is good, but he has a lot of same face going on. That's my biggest issue.
I get that JoJo's has some high concept shit, but I seriously cannot tell what the fuck I'm supposed to be looking at half the time. And everyone says that part 5 is cool because of the fights. The fights! But Marcus, the fights are so cool! Why do I care about the fights if I don't care about the story?
Because it's JoJo's. The fights are like the number one thing. It's a battle manga.
Yeah.
The story is just meant to be enhancing it, and the character is supposed to enhance it. Like, the time dude in part 7. Don't know a lot about him.
Road again.
Yeah. Don't know a lot about him. Didn't care. Amazing fight.
Yep.
He didn't really affect the plot in any way, shape, or form.
But he had a personality. He had a goal. He had motivation. He had everything that you need, and he had a good ability.
And it was a good fight.
Yeah.
I look for a good fight, A1, and then what make good fight? What makes the fight good?
The stuff around it.
Mm-hmm.
The characters that are in the fights. And to top all of it off, part 5 is so goddamn long. Part 5 is basically just part 3 again, except you don't get a cool final battle. You get some Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, the final battle of part 5 is legit trash. I don't care about the final fight starts when they're racing again. I don't care. It's a trash.
No, but you don't understand that the final fight starts when this happens.
Yeah, I don't
and
care.
that's the real. Dude, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's part 5's trash.
If you will give me just a hot second, I wanna check.
Check out the length between part 3 and part. It's not the same because part 3 had 52 episodes altogether, I believe. And
I'm
part
looking
5
purely
had
at the
39.
manga.
Okay.
Okay, so for the manga, it started in chapter, this part 3. This started in chapter 115 and ended in chapter 251. It's pretty long.
That is a long boy. That's 115, 251. That's what?
Nope, 256.
256.
Yeah.
Wow, that's 146. 141,
That's a lot longer than I thought it was. All right, let's go on over to part 4.
Which I think was like 90 chapters?
Keep that number in mind because I don't remember what I
141.
141. Cool. All right. Piggity. Starts at 266 and ends in... You gotta get better, Wikipedia. 445.
266, 445. Wow, it's longer. No, it's like 147. Yeah, it's longer. Slightly.
And part 5.
Oh, that was part 4?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because he is just falling on his face. It just feels longer because he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Can I get the manga Wikipedia? My goodness. It starts in 437 and ends in 594.
594. 437, 594.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, 157, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's longer.
Yeah, but how much longer?
141, 150. There's like 13 chapters or so.
There you go. We're not talking some freaking 50 chapter difference. We're not talking about part 8 is, I think it's over 100 chapters, but they're double, triple length chapters.
Yeah.
So we're in the 300s technically. But if we're counting pure numbers, but still, you're just saying it's longer, but it's factually not. Probably. Just done.
So here we go. Part 7 is 95, but doubles. Part 4 is 174. Part 6 is 158. Part 5 is 155. Part 3 is 152.
Oh my goodness. This dude is a bum. He didn't even research this. It just felt longer because he's not enjoying it.
So actually, part 4 is the second longest after part 7, because, part 7 got double chapters and all that. Mm-hmm. So part 4 is the second longest. Part 5 is almost bottom 3 shortest. As far as modern JoJo's, It is only 3 more than part 3.
Wow. Live on air, balls exposed.
As far as volumes, part 5 and 6 have the exact same volume amount. Part 3 has one less than the others. Nope, my bad. Part 5 and 6 have the same volume amount as 17. Part 3 has 16. Part 4 has 18.
This is embarrassing. This is bad. There's no respect here for this dude.
Just part 3 again, except you don't get a cool final battle. You get some Deus Ex Machina ass pull bullshit, which, I guess part 3 kind of had that, but I liked it there, so it's different.
No, it's not different. See, you're just
that's all.
Back up to -10. Sorry,
that's all we need to say there. I liked it, so it's different. That's all this is.
I liked it, so it's forgivable. Now that I don't like it, it's real bad.
I'm not even going to mention the fake out deaths in part 4 because I liked it.
I just think that Jotaro teaching himself how to stop time through sheer force of will is much cooler than just getting a new superpower.
Pause.
Because
cooler, but does it make more sense? Is it more logical? Is it more consistent?
We know something's gonna happen when he stabs himself with the arrow.
Are we just having cool points? Or are we having consistency points? Because there's a lot of cool stuff in part 5. Does that make it good? No.
Needs you to beat the bad guy. And yes, I know that my personal circumstances in how I went about enjoying this series are different than other people's. A lot of people just got to watch the anime where a lot of the visual clutter is cleared up and a lot of the fat is trimmed. But the anime did not exist when I read it, and I am not about to go back and watch like fucking 40 episodes of an anime that I know I don't like. And yeah,
but you might end up liking it if part of your problem was the clutter.
Yes, and he also just said that oh, it's probably because of bad translation. And then I went back and read it. So you'll go back and read it, but you won't go back and watch it in a better manner that you're just going, people are liking it because of the anime, but I'm not going to watch the anime because I don't like it.
But I'll reread it to make sure I don't like it.
Even though it has a lot of clutter, and the clutter is my problem. Wait, what's your problem here? Is it the clutter? Or do you not understand what's going on? Is it the characters? What?
I probably wouldn't be as mad or exhausted with the series if I hadn't tried to binge it in 2 months years ago.
That was your fault.
Yes!
By the time, from when I first started reading part 1 to the time I got to the end of part 5, it was probably like 8-9 months later. I took my time with that.
This is a you thing.
You got burnt. This is why you burned out. You read so much so quickly. You read from part 1 to the end of part 5, which is around 500 chapters in 2 months. What do you expect to happen? 600 chapters in 2 months? And you think you're not going to get burned out? It was easy for me in Bleach because I've already read most of Bleach. I just didn't read the last arc of it, which is actually a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be.
It's pretty long. Isn't it like 200 chapters?
Yeah, but it was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was going to be like 3 something.
It's still a stinker.
It's not good. We'll get into it when we get to the Bleach Boys. But yeah, of course you burned out. Because you already had a roller coaster of, it's pretty good, it's pretty good. Oh, I don't like this. Wow, I love this. Oh, I don't like this. So you're essentially forcing yourself, with bad translations. With a cluttered looking, because the scans were probably not very good either.
And you're going, I have this opinion in my mind and I'm not going to go change it.
I'm not deviating.
There's a better format out there that you'll understand it and it cuts the fat and everything. Yeah, but I'm not going to do it. That's baby mentality, homie.
But at that point, JoJo's just wasn't fun for me anymore. I was not having a good time. But I still fucking
What do you want out of this? Fun, bizarre, characters,
mundane.
Fights, mundane? What do you want? What are you looking for?
Plot.
Because you went slice of life. Oh, that's boring.
Oh, wait, no, it's the best.
But now this big world stake sort of thing, and it's, what do you mean? I am very frustrated with this.
A good time. But I still fucking finished part 5 because I told myself I would. And I heard part 6 was interesting. And I heard that Jolene was cool.
Why are you listening to people? Stop listening to people and go into it yourself, because you already having these preconceived notions of, oh, it's good, it's bad because it's slice of life. And then you have to like sort of go into it and go build up. And you're going, oh, it's interesting. Jolene is good. Okay, I'm ready for Jolene to be good. Jolene's not as good as I thought she was going to be. And then it goes lower because of that.
A unique JoJo for once, but it just wasn't enough. I think the final nail in the coffin was me forcing myself to read part 6 when I was genuinely exhausted with the series.
Why would you do that?
This is insanity.
And part 6 is awesome.
Part 6 is hype.
I am, like I said, currently rereading it.
Why would he do this? I'm so burnt out on this series. He said he used the word force myself.
Because Jolene's kind of whatever, cool.
Don't force yourself. If you don't want to read it, don't read it. And then just go, oh man, I'm bored one day. Let me pick up JoJo again. Not just like, I gotta get through this. And you're just like, Joe, you're going into this with a terrible mindset. Why don't I like JoJo? I was burned out. That's what it sounded like. Cause you's a bum.
The problem I have with JoJo's is that I love part 4 too much. I love it so much that I hate all the following parts for not being as good.
Oh my goodness.
And yes, part 6 is not as bad as part 5, but it's still not as good as part 4.
So it's not as good as a part you love, and because of that, JoJo suck.
Okay.
All other part after suck.
This I don't know how he feels about part 6, because he loves part 4. Let's put it at 100, and he hates part 5. Let's put it at a 0. And he goes, it's not as bad as 5, but it's not as good as 4. So is it a 30? Is it a 70? Is it a 50? What is it?
And the number is already going to be muddled because he forced himself to read it.
Yes.
So I really didn't care.
I don't care.
You didn't care. Off rip.
Because you're forcing yourself to read it because you're burned out. This is Giga's crap.
I really didn't care. I didn't like a lot of the characters. I didn't really care about the story. There was still a lot of inconsistencies.
Pause. Why don't you like part 6? I don't care about the characters. There's a lot of Explain yourself.
I love the characters.
The characters are the best. I think that is the best group in all of JoJo.
I'm still part 4, boy.
You get it. No. I'll fight you on that.
But it's really 2 that really elevate
It's
the
not
whole
just
group. I understand you like Foo Fighters and she's cool too, but it's mainly Jolene and Hermes.
Yes, it's mainly them, but I love Adam Sweet. I love Heavy Weather. Weather Report.
Weather Report is cool. But at the same time, it's the main
Yes,
two.
it's the main 2. But I can say that about the same thing about part 4 though.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far because I like Koichi is coolish.
My mindset when I think of part 4 is Josuke and Okuyasu. My mindset when I think about part 4 is Okuyasu and Josuke. And then I'm like, yeah, everybody else, cool. But that's also the same thing in part 6. But my cool with them is a lot
Elevated a lot more.
Yeah, I'm a part 6 man. Mm-hmm. But again, this trash.
Part 6 is my second favorite.
It's doing nothing for me. You're just going, I don't like it. Why don't you like it? Because I don't like it.
I don't like it because of the characters, the plot, and the inconsistency. Okay, what about the characters don't you like? Oh, I'm not going to explain that.
I'm moving on.
Oh, what about the plot you don't like? Oh, I'm not going to explain that.
Yeah.
Oh, what about what's inconsistent about it? Oh, I have got nothing for you. I just don't like it.
Man.
Do you see why people might get on you?
Yes. Why are people always get mad at me when I say I don't like JoJo? Because you're not explaining yourself. And when you do, it's trash. And when you do, it's inconsistent to your previous stuff.
But I finished part 6 out of pure obligation.
Out of pure obligation.
To yourself.
So you're going to instantly not like it as much. You're not going, yeah, I'm excited about reading JoJo. What's going to happen next? This is pure obligation. This is reading a history book. Because you got to.
Yeah, it's doing a book report. Oh, I gotta read this. I gotta read this whole chapter. And, I don't like this subject.
Yes.
But I need this B.
So you're just like, don't really like this, don't really like that. And you're just sort of, this is the end of Gamblefish where I'm just like, Mahjong. I gotta get to the end of this. Oh, y'all still playing Mahjong. Okay, Mahjong is done. Oh, an underwater game of Mahjong. Interesting.
Hey, but all that before was hype as
You's a bum.
Dude.
And 4 things that you recommended to me, and they all have trash endings.
But weren't they all hyped up to the point?
Your whole thing for a long time was literally the ending can ruin a series. That was your...
Understandable.
You was preaching that.
But was Gamblefish ruined because of that ending?
You was preaching that.
I said
that ending was a fart. I'm like, oh, that's it?
And Change 123 was good, but you just didn't like it because you ain't get what you wanted. It's a difference. It's a difference. No, that's a difference. I understand Gamblefish. Gamblefish trash. Understandable. Change 123 was like, oh, I just wanted everybody to be happy and to get their one little. No.
Yeah.
You didn't get it. And so
but I can also make the argument that it's not good in spite of the fact that I did not get what I wanted.
I finished part 6 out of pure obligation to myself, even though nobody told me to. And honestly, nowadays, I don't remember anything in part 6. I read the whole thing, and I can't tell you
dude,
one thing.
Sped read it.
You sped read it because you were bored and burnt out.
And just obligated. So you probably just sitting there watching a baseball game, just looking up every now and again, looking down at the screen. Oh, whatever. They're snails now, I guess. Looking up, looking down. You're not focused on it.
Why is Mickey Mouse on screen?
You're not focusing on it, so of course you're not going to remember it. But again, What's his rankings?
4.
I'm
Everything else.
happens in it. By this point, I was so empty and just so very done with JoJo's, so this is where I tapped out. But for years, I told myself that maybe under the right circumstances, I might pick it up again. Because everybody swears on their mama that Part 7 is godlike.
It's pretty
But then something unexpected happened. JoJo's got really popular. Back when I read JoJo's, I was lucky to find a single Dio cosplayer at a convention. And for
who are you hearing this information from then? Part 6 is interesting and Jolene is cool. Part 4 is whatever because it's slice of life. Who are you hearing this information from?
Part 5 is stupid cool, and that's what's good about it.
Everybody loves Part 5, and everybody's just like, hey, why don't you like Part 5? Did you read a bad translation and you have to defend your... Who are you talking to?
Yet finding any physical merchandise in the States. The anime was just finishing Part 2 and it was still kinda niche. But as years went on, people became fucking obsessed with this show, and JoJo's is huge now. And the fans are really fucking annoying. You see them everywhere pushing the series on people like it's their fucking Bible. Sometimes I see some random jerk-off on the internet saying that they don't like anime, and without fail, there's always at least one weirdo who says, hey, I know you don't like anime, but you should really watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Okay, but there's people that are like, watch Dragon Ball,
I was
watch
just
blah,
about
blah,
to say
blah,
that.
blah, blah, blah.
There's gonna be those people for everything. Of course.
You don't like anime, but Bill Burr liked One Punch Man. You should watch it. He liked it. Why wouldn't you like it? He doesn't like anime either.
This isn't an argument.
This is not an argument.
Why don't you like JoJo? Because of the fans? Whatever. Don't let them influence your stuff. Watch it, read it. Don't do.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you recommend that as someone's first show? And I will admit, this pushed me away from...
Part 1 is very simple.
digestible.
It's digestible. That's a very good way to put it. It's simple. There's not too much going on. You got the very basic of this is Hamon, this is the power system, this is the villain. Boom, boom, boom. You're in, you're out. You've basically got less than 7 characters that you got to worry about. It's very good. And then you can just go, this is the end of this part, but it continues if you should like. Not unlike Dragon Ball where you just go, okay, episode 1, and there's also like 400 other episodes. Something like Death Note is also like that, but then that Death Note halfway point is just like, I can't recommend Death Note to people.
I can't for the first half.
But it would be like, I need to see how this story finishes.
Yeah, it did.
It did right there. Episode 26. It just ended. It's just like Kira became the god of this new world, and it just ended. And then he did. That was all that happened.
In the series a lot more.
Hey, read Part 7, Marky. I know you don't like JoJo's, but you gotta read Part 7.
Man, leave me alone, alright? I don't want it anymore. At this point, I feel like my taste in shonen is done developing. Since quitting JoJo's, I've read a lot of shonen that I actually like a lot more than the good stuff that I enjoyed in JoJo's. And I don't think you can compare every shonen to each other, but since quitting JoJo's, I've read One Piece, a story that actually made me cry. And if you know me, media rarely makes me cry. And then
One Piece. Oh no.
He can't.
Oh no. -11? Is it happening? Could it be?
He's breaking through his own limits?
It cannot be.
Hunter x Hunter anime came out and it recontextualized what shonen meant to me.
Wow. Whoa! Dude, I got goosebumps. He almost opened this video with going, if there's a shonen, a popular shonen, I've already been reading it and everything. This recontextualized. Are you... Dude, we farming this dude.
Yeah.
He's up there now with Ocean, with Nux. He's just like, okay, this is a go-to. This is a reliable go-to.
Yeah.
What is this?
I fought against it. I fought against it for quite a while. Oh, he's cool. No,
he is cool. El Bum Magnifico.
Shonen meant to me. I don't know. That's just my personal taste.
Hey, pause.
I'm not saying...
What do you mean?
He means it's his personal taste.
What do you think about Hunter x Hunter? It recontextualized what shonen means to me. Walks away. What are conversations with this dude like? And this is what he's putting into videos.
I wonder if he has a Hunter x Hunter video.
He doesn't. This is very recent.
No, but I mean, did he just now start reading Hunter x Hunter? Wow, right. What the? What? No, what? Because he just said that the Hunter x Hunter anime came out, and that anime's been out for like.
And he did go. He stopped reading around the end of part 2
when that anime came out.
What does he mean?
I'm not saying that you're a dummy for liking JoJo's. I'm just telling you why I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
Bro, we've barely gotten it. It's inconsistent. I don't like the characters. I don't like the plot.
Except for the stuff that I do like. Hey, that stuff is over here too. I don't like it.
You could break it down into 3 characters, except none of these characters, 80% of the characters don't fit this archetype.
Boy, you didn't mention Trish in that archetype.
If you like it, that's great. It's not a bad series. Just don't be surprised that some people don't like it. It's not a perfect series. And
nothing is perfect in this world. And I have never met anybody that has watched up to a certain point in JoJo's or read it where they went, I don't like JoJo's. That's just me personally, though. Yeah, I don't. Nobody's saying it's perfect.
Nobody's zero. I can't say zero. There are people who say that, but
I can't believe it.
They're the outliers. Listen to people that are just like, this is a very good anime that does a lot of good things.
Yeah, I think a lot of the wacky inconsistencies are part of the charm.
Then why are you mad about it? Why are you like, oh, the inconsistencies in part 6? But that's part of the charm.
And what wacky inconsistencies?
What inconsistencies? You pointed out 0. Now, you can say each part is inconsistent, as in part 4 is good, part 5 isn't good, so JoJo's as a whole is inconsistent. But you went, part 6 is inconsistent.
That was an argument of yours.
What do you mean?
This doesn't work on everybody. For me, JoJo's was like a bad ex. There was excitement in the beginning of the relationship, and there was a period of time where I thought I was in love, but things just grew sour for me, and I started to notice some traits that I did not like so much. So
That's not a bad ex. Y'all grew apart. Y'all ended the relationship. You can still be cool with that person.
Now, if you just stop calling her and stop talking to her, and then the relationship falls apart,
and then she calls and goes, "Why'd you stop texting? Why'd you stop calling?" And she's blocked on everything. You're gonna go, "Why?" You're not gonna go, "Why you keep asking me this?"
But you just so detached from part 6, just going, "Yes, whatever," and I'm done with it. You did this to yourself. Call your girl, and she won't break up with you. Read JoJo's without being so detached, and you'll get something from it instead of out of obligation.
How about you talk out the traits with that ex as opposed to just going, "Oh, there's some stuff out here I don't like, so we're just ending this." Communicate.
But he's not doing that.
He's forcing himself in the relationship until he reaches his breaking point, and then it's over. And then you go, "What happened with that relationship?" Stop asking.
Read part 7? I don't know. Maybe. It's possible, but it's not really a priority of mine. But I will say that every time you guys tell me to read it, I push it back by another year.
-10.
-10.
Not even close.
Yeah, no. Even when he went, part 5 is bad, I was still just like, no, it's still the -10. I don't care. You've made such terrible arguments. Not even a good argument, one good thought. Because your arguments within that were really bad. You just went, dude.
You blanket statement why you don't like part 5. Because, not part 5, but JoJo as a whole. Because you can apply that to almost anything and it sounds the exact same.
Yep.
Why don't you like Naruto? I don't like the characters. I don't like the plot. And it's inconsistent. What's the difference?
Yes. And then you just bring up random weird things like, oh, Polnareff turned into a turtle. And that's just like, well, it's bad because he turned into a turtle. Not what was around it, not anything. Just going, this is bad because this. This is terrible. Fake out deaths in part 5. Why? What about the ones in part 4? Not gonna bring those up because I like that part. It's childish. This is a really bad video from a really bad creator.
This is a really bad video.
I told you, Cosmonaut.
I don't know if he's really bad, but this is a really bad video. Again, I only have a small sample size. I have one really good video, one whatever video, and one really bad video.
I told you there was in our big old list of, hey, here's the stuff we need to hit. One of them is Cosmonaut ragging on the Sam Raimi trilogy is not as good as you remember, or some trash like that. And I went, let's do this. You were like, oh man, Cosmo, I like Cosmo. He rags on part 2, the second movie.
Ooh, that's impossible. It's one of the great, if not the greatest superhero movie.
He is really, really bad.
Yeah, this was bad.
This is a really
bad. I'll submit to you that Spider-Man 3 is not as bad as people make it out.
I've always said that.
I have not always said that.
I have always said that. I'm a big proponent of that. I'm a big proponent of X3 is not as bad as everybody says.
X3?
X-Men 3.
Oh, no, that was terrible, dude.
It's not as bad as everybody says.
No, absolutely.
It's not great, but there's some good stuff in it.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in part 5, too.
Yeah, there is.
Mm-hmm. It's even worse than people believe.
I'm like, it's watchable. It's fine. It's whatever. I'd give it like a hot 5.
I would give that like a 3, 4.
I need to rewatch that.
I have no problem with it, but it's a 3 or a 4 kid.
I don't think so. But yeah, no. I'm telling you, Cosmonaut is really, really bad, and he is now a gold mine for us.
Yeah,
he is one of our reliable, dependable people.
Boy,
1.3 million.
Oh yeah, you didn't think that? You didn't think that? Whoa!
Great video and made a lot of fair points. Great job, Marcus. Unsubscribe. Do I think is that a joke or not? I don't know. Whatever.
So usually after we watch these videos, we go to the comments to see what people thought. There's only been like 3 that have been like, you're just being stupid. One was the Batman can beat the Avengers, where it's just like everybody was on that dude's neck. But for the most part, the highest rated comments are people that are just like, this was amazing, blah blah blah.
Yeah, you just got a good like to dislike ratio. 31K up, 4.1 down.
This was not good.
This was really, really not good.
So yeah. This is episode 27. So we should hit up one. Okay, so here, what do you want to do? Do you want to do the Bleach 4 years later for 28, something for 29, and then the 2-hour Bleach, the fall of Bleach for 30, or do you want to do the Bleaches back to back 29 and 30?
Oh boy, that's overload. Are we doing anything next week since we're moving and everything?
Probably not.
Okay.
So we'll have a couple weeks off. Yeah. I'll probably edit one of the new series. Check this out or whatever.
Yeah, because I need to just bone up a little bit on the end of Bleach, just so I can get everything before the 1,000-year blood war. It's cool in my mind, but that one's just like there's so much that just happens that I'm just like, I know certain things, they're in my mind, but then other things I'm like, where was this person? And I told this to Chris. Soy Fawn is one of my favorite characters in Bleach. She does jack in that art.
She does essentially nothing.
It's terrible. I hate it. She's great.
And it even makes sense of why she doesn't bring out her Bankai a lot, because, I'm an assassin. Yes, this is a big old loud shooty boy.
That's great. Soy Fawn is amazing. But yeah, yeah, we can decide on that later. I think I might be leaning a little bit more towards the double Bleach.
Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. Rapid fire. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, next time I guess.
Man,
this was not good.
This was not good. This is one of the ones where I'm just like, I wish we could just break through it, just give it an 11. Because this is just.
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Just the rules are rules.
But this is one of those things where I'm like, we should reevaluate everything we've done up, because there's so many tiers.
We could do like a really quick we can just go to the end of our videos and just go, what did we give this video? And just sort of rank them and just get them in a list and just go, did this deserve it? And we can do that for like an hour next week and just put that up.
As episode 28?
Not as episode 28, but it's like a
special, revisited special,
in
reevaluating our scores. Yeah, absolutely. Because there are some that probably, based on what the 10s we have now, should not be 10s after the fact. Okay. So, next time.